I had this dream once that I went to Earth and I was walking around on the street and I came up to this policeman who was, standing on the corner. He said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I think I'm lost." And he said, "Well, where do you live?" And I said, "I live up there." And I pointed up in the sky and he like took his hat off and scratched his head. He said, "You're an alien, aren't you?" And I said, "I don't know, I guess." And then I woke up. Last night I had this dream that I went to Earth and I was there and I walked around on the street and this guy came up to me and he said, "Hey, you know what? You look like somebody familiar." And I said, "Well, my name is Brak." And he said, "No, that's not it. You look like my friend from high school." And I said, "Well, what if I am?" And he said, "Well, do you remember Sheila Darnworth?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, she was your girlfriend." And I said, "Well, I really only had imaginary girlfriends. I don't know any Sheila Darnworth." And he said, "But you gotta know Sheila Darnworth, man. She was your girlfriend." And I said, hey, I don't know you." He said, "Hey, I know you." And I said, "No, really, get out of my face." And then I woke up. Once I had this dream that I went to Earth and I was walking down the street and this woman came up to me and she said, "I lost my dog." And I said, do I look like a dog?" And she said, "No, but I lost the dog." And I said, "Well, I really feel for you, lady, but what can I do? I'm not in the dog catcher or anything." And she said, "Well, you gotta help me find my dog." And I said, "He's over there," and pointed in a direction just to get rid of her. And she said, "Take it very kindly," and then walked off. And I never saw her since. And then I woke up.